Ah, 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 ah. S- Okay, hello. Hello, one, two. Um, can you hear me? Let me know if you can hear me correctly, if you can hear my voice and bass. Um, as usual, sorry for my kind of a broken English, I guess. I guess it was worse before. I had some practice. I've been doing mm, about 66 of these live solutions that I not very usually do, but I wanted to do now. So maybe we can throw some questions that I can answer, and I can give you some answers or some approach maybe to responding it. As I said, I'm not from America. I'm not a native English speaker, so I'm always kind of struggling with it. Um, when I'm trying to be eloquent about it, most of the times I'm trying to speak slowly and figure out what's going on in my mind, so I can, you know, more or less articulate what I'm trying to think. So um, soon we'll go into the questions, but just wanted to remind you that usually I'm doing this type of streams Sundays. I'm trying to do them each week, but it's a little bit difficult. Sometimes I kind of forget about it, and sometimes I just can't because I have other things to do. But um but yeah, it's always a nice opportunity for me to practice my English, I guess. Um, okay, so the dynamic of this is quite simple. Again, please let me know if you can hear everything. Here's my voice, and here's the volume of the bass. Um, and that's it. So, as I said, the usual dynamics of this is you using the live chat, um, throwing me some questions that I maybe can easily, more or less, answer. Usually not questions that are too broad or too general to maybe approach. So it's easier to just go into the details of it. I mean, maybe if you're going to ask, how can I be better at bass? That's a little bit of a difficult and long and more or less abstract uh, questions to answer. So maybe I won't be able to give it a try. So maybe some more specific things that we can figure out, and you have some doubts about it, and I can maybe, you know, throw you some tips on it, right? Uh, I'm going to speak all the time in English. I know I have people know that I'm from Latin America. I'm actually from Chile. It's a country in South America, and I use this type of language only because it's a more general way to approach everyone on the channel, right? So that's it. Uh, you gonna sing? No, I'm actually studying a little bit about my voice, and I want to get always a little bit better on it, and then maybe trying to sing a little bit and improving my voice. But it's a long run till I can show you something, I guess. uh, what best McDonald's food? I don't know. I think I actually never um, ate McDonald's. So maybe one or two times, and it kind of sucked. I don't like it. Um, and I do like to eat. So yeah. What's with this kind of random questions that I guess I'm going to be answering? I don't mind, but as soon as you have some bass related things, maybe we can get to it. Do you like video games? I do. I do like video games. Um, uh, actually, It's kind of a secret. I wanted to maybe keep it a little bit um, of a secret, but besides being a bassist, I'm also a little bit of a composer, I guess. And soon, very soon, I'm maybe going to show you some news about a video game soundtrack that actually uh, I actually ended up the composing aspect of it. I was just kind of like tweaking some mixing and mastering of it, but yeah, I made a video game soundtrack that I'm kind of like very excited to show you when it comes out. So maybe be up to it. Um, okay, finally some bass things. Uh, what gauge strings do you use? I usually go for the standard of everything. If you know me, I'm kind of like an example of going into very simple ways regarding my I don't know hardware. If you wanted to kind of mention it like that, I use the Dario strings. 45. That's kind of like the standard gauge of strings. You can also go higher or lower depending on what you want, really. If you want to lower down your tunings and have more of a dark sound and a little bit more tension, you always go for higher gauge. And if you want lower gauge related things, it's most of the time related to playing a little bit faster. Obviously, a lighter and more thinner sound that you can achieve. So I think those are the guides, but for me it's just standard, right? Uh, do you own any other bases? And I don't. Actually, I don't own any other bases. And I've never owned any other bases. I've been playing for, I think it's coming to the decade of me playing bass. I don't know, something like that, maybe 9 years or something like that. And I've been playing this bass for all the time that I've been playing. I never bought any other instrument, any other electric bass, um, and I never intended to really. Many of you already also know my kind of like philosophy about it, I guess, and it's just sticking to this, and most of it is just related to showing people also that you can achieve many different tones and many different um, playing aspects with just shaping of your tone, not only related to the instrument but mostly related to your style of playing, and also the tweaking and all the little things that you can do in audio production also. So yeah, only this bass for all eternity, and I'm planning to just go for it as long as I can. Good chords to learn as a starter. I guess you are referring to some bass chords, and I really like actually to play with some bass chords. If you've seen some of the streams, I do a lot of that. So I usually do things like this. I don't know. Or something like that. I don't know. And I guess I can show you some shapes of different chords that you can do. Let's think about major and minor chords and just stick with it for a little while. Okay. And there's some shapes that are more common than others and actually are played in more of a rock or pop aspect. And a very usual shape that you can see, especially with Flea and Red Hot Chili Peppers. Um, it's something like this. And this is also a chord. If you're playing a triad, in this case, if I'm playing C major, I'm playing C in the 8th fret, and I'm playing the higher E, or the higher third. In this case, it's kind of like a 10th that I'm playing on the G string. So I'm playing both of the extremes, the first and the fourth strings all the time, and trying to play the tonic, in this case, C and then E, right on the 9th fret in the G string. So maybe something like that. And that is already a chord. It's not a complete chord. It's just a triad, but it also can function as a chord if you mess with it a little bit. So this type of shape that you can play like this with the 2 and 3 or the 2 and 4 fingers or something like that, or maybe even like that, but I don't recommend it. Maybe something like that. It's quite a more easy with the 2 finger right here, the middle finger, and your little finger right here, and that is a C major, right? And if you play a little bit of guitar, you can actually implement guitar chords in bass. This shape is actually related to just doing this. You know, that's the usual kind of like a capo, I think you call it, when you put the whole finger in it to play guitar, and you go with this type of chords. And then you have some C major, but in this case, bass will sound a little bit muddy if you apply too much of notes in one chord. If you're not playing sharp enough, because I think I can manage to make all those notes sound a little bit, but it depends really on how are you playing, where are you playing, and how much are you using of your equalization on your amp or all of that. But it's also easier to just go and do something like that. So this shape, this major chord shape, in a way, I'd say it's just a triad because I'm just not playing the 5th. If I wanted to really play a major chord, I would have to also add the 5th to this. So I have C, E, and I'm missing a G that I can maybe find right here. right? And there's a full major chord, but in this case I'm just going with two notes. And the most important and characteristic note that I can change now to make it a minor chord is the third. So I have a C major, and the only thing I have to do to create a C minor chord would be something like this. I'm now playing in the same fret both notes, right? Here's a major chord, and here's a minor chord. So I can play with this a lot because of the parallel nature of this instrument, our instrument. You can actually go and apply this tonic to any other note in the fourth string of the bass, and you have a major chord everywhere. If you want an E major, you can have it here. If you want, I don't know, A major, if you want C sharp major or whatever, right? And if you want minor chords, you can do the same, but E minor, right in the same fret. That would be 12th fret and 12th fret in both E and G strings, right? So those are types of chords that you can kind of like evolve a little bit and create more tension in those chords to make arguably a little bit more interesting sounds. But also this can be interesting, really. For example, you can go into a C major scale, just going through chords, something like this, and that would be C major, then D minor, then E minor, then F major, G major, E minor, B half diminished. In this case, I'm just doing kind of like a B minor because I'm not notating the half diminished part, and back into C. And if you go into this run, you can actually play a lot with it. You can do something like or something like that. I don't know, right? But then, just to end this and go into another question, maybe you can actually add more tensions into those same chords and maybe create some interesting bass chord sounds, I guess. So you have this C major, and as I said, you have a C and E, or C and E to the tonic and the third of the chord. And you have the fifth over here in the G, right, on the 10th of the A string. Always let me know if I'm not being understood all the time, okay? If you don't know and if you skipped something and if you're not quite certain about what I'm talking about, you can actually use this chat. Okay, so have tonic, the third and the fifth. I'm using this third an octave above, so I'm having this. But there's also another tension that I can add to tonic major chord, in this case C major, and that is the seventh. So I have a C, E, G, and B, all separated into thirds, right? So you have C inside the same C major scale. We're just working with C major scale, and that is C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, and I'm going third over third into it, and then I can add the seventh. So I have the tonic C, the third E, the fifth G, and the seventh it's going to be B, right? So I have C, E, G, B to create a C major 7 arpeggio, or the usual C max 7 that you can see in some books or whatever, C major 7 or max 7 or max 7, etc. Right, so I can add the seventh to this same shape. I can do C, and then I can do the same third over here, and then I can add this note over here, if you see my hand, right to the side in the same fret space. In the 9th fret in this case, I'm going to play on the D string in this case, so I have this. And then I'm adding this. And this is a major 7 sound that you can actually apply to any other shape over the fretboard. So I have this. And it sounds a little bit more interesting because I'm having different types of intervals. I'm having a fourth interval also, and I'm adding the 7th. It's a little bit of a tense situation, but it's always allowed in some aspects. So here it is. As I said, it may sound a little bit muddy, so you have to maybe play a little bit more to this part of the bass, so you get a little bit more sound. Maybe go a little bit more treble, maybe using the bridge pickup to get more of the sound, right? And you go like that. I usually use this shape. I don't go like that. I don't go like that. I just go middle finger, third and 4. So it's 2, 3, 4. Right? So I have 2, 3, 4, and that shape I can move it all around. I can do a G major 7, B flat major 7, I can go E major 7, D, C, and whatever other type of chord, right? Only with a major 7 chord I can move around and maybe have some beautiful things happening. But again, that is a major chord, major 7th chord, right? And just to end up this part, I'm going to show you maybe one more that I usually do. Those that I'm showing you right now, I kind of like the more simple ones. Then you can achieve more and more shapes and more. And besides shapes, it's always important to know what notes that are you trying to execute, and then you can do whatever shape that you want, right? But that's a matter for maybe for other live stream to attend to. So you have a C major like that, and if you move these 2 fingers right here in your C major, if you move them again to the same position but just a semitone below, something like that, and you again the same C, you have the shape of a C minor 7 chord, or any other minor 7 chord that you can use. So you have this sound, right? And you have C minor 7. In this case, I'm playing the tonic C, I'm playing the minor third, you know, B flat, E flat, and then I'm playing B flat, the minor seventh. Always, if you find it's too muddy to play maybe all of them together, maybe it will work if you play them separately also. You can do something like this. Or leave a little bit of a let ring, right? Or maybe let them let them ring a little bit, right? So you have a C minor 7 shape, and just go semitone up with this one, and you have C major 7th. C major 7th. So maybe I will use this type of shape for a C major 7. Maybe I will use sometimes something like this. I will just switch my index for the middle if it's more comfortable to do. And I can actually use one finger to just do the minor 7 also. Yeah, something like that. I can do something like that also, right? And I can just play around with even freely. You can play around with these shapes and see what comes out. Not necessarily applied to theory, but you can do maybe something like this. I'm just going to go freely with it. I'm just going to use major 7 shapes and minor 7 shapes, okay? You know, and maybe you can actually get some type of sound out of it. Maybe not, right? But if you want to apply it more into theory, maybe we can in another live stream talk a little bit about it. You know, I don't want to get stuck in just one question because that's something that I usually do, and I don't have much time right now. So maybe let's do another one, and let's call it a live stream, right? Um, what else? What else? Um, I'm just going to read what Sean Maeve is saying right now. I just got on YouTube to watch your videos and play along with your different videos, and you've helped me go so far with playing a bass guitar. So I wanted to, sorry. So I wanted to say thank you so much. Okay, thanks to you, Sean. Actually, thanks to everyone that I'm always reading these types of comments, and I'm always very grateful that I'm actually helping people in a way that I wanted really to help, and that is just giving you good tools to work by yourself, because I'm kind of not like a tutorial guy or whatever. I'm just delivering the transcription and all of that, and so most of the power of this is it's from you. I'm just giving you some tools, right? Um, so again, I'm very appreciative of it, and thank you so much. It's been so many years, right? So it's been a long time. Um, did you study music? How can everyone achieve a similar level to yours if music if it's not an option for college? Yeah, I did study music, but I don't think that any of the things that I've achieved related to bass are necessarily related to me going into college. I went into it, but I didn't even study bass on college. I just started to be a teacher most of it, and also some music, foundation that it's also important related maybe to ear training and knowing about mostly about classical music and something like that. But I think you can, and obviously if you want to go to a music school, it's more than cool, but you can achieve most of it just going into it by yourself, especially if you have, these types of tools that we have. And I'm referring to the internet and all of that. So I don't know, maybe you can have many different tools and help just going into it, and I think you can do it even if you're not able, or maybe even if you don't want to go to music school. You can be self-taught as many other musicians have been, so no problem about it, I think, right? um, I have a question from Vici. Thank you so much also for the donation. uh, Thanks for sharing your knowledge. Do you discuss gear as well, or mainly music? Wonder if you have any opinion on Schecter basses. Right. As I recently said, and I'm always saying it, I'm not the best gear guy. I guess I'm not the most uh, well known on that matters, and I'm always trying to improve. Also, I know how to take care of this bass, but I don't think I have many opinions on any other types of basses. Also, because I've never actually tried many other basses. Obviously, maybe I play some other basses here and there, but most of the time I'm just playing this one. I have no idea about Schecter basses, honestly. Um, I have some idea about this Washburn bass, and I also know that on many bass or any different companies, you have basses that are from a lower rate, middle rate, maybe higher rate of construction and all of that. But this bass, just for you to get an idea, is not a high end bass or instrument. It's actually a really, I'd say, middle construction, middle electronics, maybe middle low electronics. I don't know. Nothing that fancy. I don't want you to ever get the idea that this bass cost me a lot, because it didn't. I think it cost me about I don't know, around $300 or something like that at the time, maybe a little bit more. I don't remember, but it's not a really high end instrument. So the most of it that you can get, it's usually just by knowing it, and obviously having a good foundation on the instrument. That meaning, if it's not broken, right? If you have a good sound, if it's not too noisy, and if you have um, a good solid construction and all of that. And I think that most basses have that. Even basic basses can have that. um, and other things like adjustment and I don't know, action and all of that, you can actually learn how to do on any bass, and that I did. But also, and that is a thing that I'm also trying to think about, to give the message to people. I don't have really a low action. I'm always all the time having, I'd say, a pretty high action. That means I have my strings kind of like raised I have my strings raised over the bridge. It's not that I'm plucking softly. I'm really plucking very hard all the time. Even if I'm playing kind of like a middle strength, something like this. And if I really go into it, I have to really pluck, right? Or whatever, depending on the place and all of that. And I have to really press on the frets, right? Uh, and that is something that you can, even with a basic instrument, decide. I decided to go this way because I like most of it, um, and how it sounds, and I don't really like the sound of fret bass too much, and also with lower rate instruments, when you lower your action, and if you don't have kind of like a perfect adjustment, you will get a lot of different issues. So I usually prefer to raise it a little bit more and give a little bit more of work, into it. Maybe I can play really, really fast things, most of it because I have to really go into it when when I want to play high speed or high strength things, right? But again, you can lower your action and go into it, and you will notice also that you have different approaches on the same instrument. And that is what I'm always trying to say. You can approach different songs, different tones, and all of that with just one instrument. Never always think about, oh, I'm sounding bad because of this. I'm sounding blah 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 because of my gear, because of my bass or whatever. Just if you're not really that well known, I think if you start with whatever instrument you can, you know, get accustomed to it, and then decide, okay, maybe I want to change it, maybe I want this, or maybe even decide and consider, maybe I don't have to really ever change this instrument. I just have to change myself, right? So I think that's applied for many other things also. Um, Sorry for that. I don't know. I'm just talking. Uh, what else? I didn't know anything about action until I bought a second bass, and the action was way higher. Right. It's important to know about action because uh, for some covers, not most of them, I have to um, maybe play a little bit with the action if I don't want to, you know, overstrain myself. I don't know. When I played Cult of Personality, I don't know if you remember that cover, and it has a really snappy sound that you can't really get until you really play with lower action, or you can really go with in something like this. I don't remember the riff, but it's something like that, right? Something like that. And if I want to achieve the same snappy sound that you can get with lower action, I will have to really play really hard. I would have to do something like this. Something like that. Um, and I'm really playing hard, and the song is about 3 or 4 minutes long, and I'm going to damage myself, right? So I have to lower down the action, and then I'll notice, okay, I have to use a little bit less stamina. I have to, all of that is less if I lower my action a little bit. Maybe it doesn't have to even be that much to be lowered, right? So I go, but I could, if I had enough stamina and all of that, go with it and achieve a lower action sound in a higher action sound. But I don't think I can achieve a higher action sound in a lower action bass, right? Um, I don't know I don't know if that's clear, but I think if I'm playing over here in in my bass that has higher action, and I play a little bit more hard, I can get a little bit of that, maybe that flea sound, you know, because I'm playing hard. If I were to play just regular, I will go something like this. That would be the regular sound, and it's not the flea sound, right? The flea sound is something like this. And I'm playing really hard, and I can like a little bit harding a little bit of uh, I wanna healthy hurt of my fingertips, my fingers' skin, and I'm creating a little bit of calluses and all of that, maybe blisters. But if you get accustomed to it, you can actually go a little bit into it, and with technique, you can actually create a healthy tension, right? And yeah, Flea is always low action. Uh, I don't know if that low action. He also plays with a hard touch, but also low action, right? And that is the sound that you want to get, right? But that's usually not my personal sound. Most of the time, I'm playing over here and getting a little bit of this sound. But if I want to, I can just regulate from a more clean sound to maybe a more dirty sound, right? Something like this. Uh, I'm kind of like a switching from sound to sound, right? And that I can achieve with a higher action bass because I have both possibilities a little bit, but I don't think I could achieve that with always a lower action bass, right? I don't know if that's clear, and if that helped you. I don't know. What else? Yeah, who's your favorite bassist? I don't know. I always try to answer myself that, and it's never fruitful. I'm never thinking about favorites because I like too many bassists. I like too many song genres. I don't have favorites of music because I really like music, so I have to I just can't decide, I guess, or something like that. Um, and I'm trying to be my favorite bassist myself, right? I think that's important also. Um, what else? What else? Um, I agree with most of what you say. Jazz pickups are very versatile and most of the tone comes from playing, but you can't deny the treble sound from double coils can be replicated with single coils. Oh yeah, I mean, um, I think there's versatility in a jazz bass because of the different placement of the pickups most of the time. But the sound of different basses, active, passive, different pickups, whatever, it's never the same. You can maybe I can maybe get a little bit into what the, the other type of sound is, but it's never the same. For me, I like versatility, so I like doing that, and I maybe the reason that I bought this bass because I didn't know anything about that when I bought it, but it made me a little bit more versatile. So I just went with it and all of that. But it's just decisions, and I think you have to stick with your own decisions. Also, I'm not saying that you should uh, do anything. Really, you shouldn't do anything. That's it. Um, where is your accent from? I'm from Chile. Chile is a country in South America, as I always say it, and I'm trying to speak as fluently as I can um, English. What else? What else? I'm going to talk a little bit in Spanish now, so people can um, be satisfied. Para la gente que esté escuchándome en español, planeo también hacer streams en español para que todos nos entendamos si es que alguien no se maneja tanto. Así que esperen esos también. ¿Eh? Okay, that's it. Have you craved for other tones you can't get? It's happening to me. Yeah. Usually, I think I can get to a little bit of the tones that I want. I don't know. You can actually prove it if you watch some of the videos and you say, okay, if you want reggae sound, if you want metal sound, I can actually achieve it not only with the bass but also with some production aspects that maybe some other time I can show you, and that is how to compress a bass, how to EQ a bass, and many other things that you can do to create different sounds, right? Um, but I don't know. I can play kind of like with a jazz tone, I guess. Or maybe more of a funky sound, even slappy. I don't know. Or maybe more darker sound, like a heavy metal, kind of like a Black Sabbath things. Or I don't know, you can maybe mention other genres and I can always give you some ideas on what the sound can be. And that is because I'm also kind of like trying to listen to different and I'm kind of like because of you, I'm always forced a little bit to listen to different genres and different types of basses, right? Uh, is there any style of playing you're not comfortable with? Says Nick. Um, I don't know. Maybe there's some things that I would never be able to do. Maybe I wouldn't be comfortable with it because I would never be able to. But most of the times when I have to lower my action, I don't like it that much. I like to go with higher action because it's kind of like my thing to play with more intention, a little bit more strength, and all of that. I like that. So when I have to lower my action and play some really speedy things that have that sound, I don't really like it that much. I don't think it sounds that natural to me. But if I have to do it, I will always try to do it. And maybe I don't know. I can't probably play technical death metal or something like that. I can't play technical progressive death metal with all of that and maybe more strings. And maybe I can't play. I don't know. I can think about some other genres right now, but I think it's not that I can play anything for sure. Uh, what else? What else? What else? What else? Oh yeah, I can't play Victor Wooden for sure. Maybe some I've heard some comments of people saying I maybe could. I don't know. I maybe could, but again, Victor Wooden is really low action, and I'm not saying that low action it's less quality of technique because you also need to be really precise and you have to be fast of fingers and all of that, and but you have to be really more precise and more technical about it. um, your dynamic range is always a little bit more difficult to manage, because you have to, if you press a little bit on the strings a little bit more, or a little bit less, you will notice that difference more if you have lower action. So you have to be really technical, really precise. um, and it's a lot of slapping things like double thumping and all of that I can't really do. I try maybe something like, and all of that types of techniques that I'm really not that into it, because I don't practice them that much, and because I have higher action. For me, slapping is always kind of hard, right? It's always a little bit difficult to do something like this. I have to go into it a little bit more, right? If you see the slapping style of people like Victor Wooden again, you will see that the hand is just going like this all the time. But if I have to slap, I go, or whatever. I have to, to get the snappy sound, I really have to go a little bit more into it. So I will have to lower my action and go with a different approach, right? Um, I think maybe one or two more questions, then I have to go for the time. I don't know if this helps you. If this is fun to watch, you can always let me know, and maybe we can do more weekly. I think I know I always say it and I never accomplish it, so not going to say anything. But promise me, I want to do more of this. Okay. Um, I mean, I promise you. No, don't promise me. I promise you. I'm always trying to do more of this, right? Um, what's your dream bass? This is my dream bass. I don't have a dream of basses, right? Maybe I have some kind of a dream of what I want to be as a bassist, but it's not depending on my bass. It's depending on me only, right? Um, what else? This is definitely good. Okay, thank you. Um, uh, you should consider Twitch streams, right? Yeah, I have a Twitch actually. I've been doing some. If you don't know, I do most of the nights. I'm doing different streams of me playing, practicing, playing over requests. I think that's a popular one that people like when I'm playing by ear over requests of people and trying to figure out some type of baseline, and that is always it can be a mess or it can be quite cool, but I think that's the thing that people like. Um, what else? More exercise videos. Yeah, I think about it sometimes. Also, I think I should do more exercises, or maybe update the ones that I'm trying to have on the channel, because um, the ones that I did on that time were made by a 5 year practice me, not a 10 year practice me. So always I have to turn back into the basics and check them out, right? Um, more Nirvana in the future, sure. It always depends on people on Patreon most of the time. What I do. Um, uh, and the last one is, what song did you enjoy covering the most that you posted online? Oh, I really enjoy many of them. Again, don't ever give me those questions when I have to decide my favorite thing, because I have too many of them. Sorry. I can't really answer that. Sorry. Okay, time to go, right? So I'm going to say goodbye to everyone. Thanks again, Bichi, for another tip. It's always appreciated. And watch the streams if you want. Most nights, and expect new videos all the time, right? I'm always working on new videos. It's not uh, as frequent as I want because it's always hard to transcribe. Um, but yeah, that's it. Okay, I'm going to leave now, and thanks for everyone watching this. Oh, it's a lot of people. I actually didn't know it was that many people watching. Okay, so more lessons next Sunday, and goodbye.